Hey peeps, it's Jedd here from Disrupt Tutoring, and as always, such a pleasure to join you guys. Today we're going to deal with a probability question, and with that in mind, let's get straight into it. So they've said to us, at a certain school there are 64 boys in grade 10. Their sport preferences are indicated below. 24 boys play soccer, 28 boys play rugby, and 10 boys play both soccer and rugby. 22 boys do not play soccer or rugby. They've said to us, represent the information in a Venn diagram below. So let's do that first. So I'm going to use this full space over here to draw out my Venn diagram, which will hopefully help me out with some of the other questions. So my Venn diagram, I'm going to start off with a nice big rectangle. And I'm going to indicate that my full sample space is equal to the 64 boys. I'm then going to draw a circle, and I'm going to draw another circle. And the first circle I've drawn is going to be for soccer, so that's going to be my soccer circle. And then my rugby circle, I'm going to draw over there. And yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Now, what I want you to do is, when we start adding in these values, I want you to start from the most specific to less specific. What do I mean by that? So these 2 points at the end are very specific because it said to us that 10 boys play both. That means automatically we can write a 10 in there. So 10 boys play both, and that 10 goes in there. And they've said to us 22 boys do not play soccer or rugby, so those guys don't fit into a ring or a circle, so that would mean the 22 sits on the outside. Now we can get to the less specific ones. So 24 boys play soccer. So we know that this whole circle has to have 24, and we've already got 10 over here. So that means that 14 boys only play soccer. Then if we move on to the 28 boys who play rugby, so we've got 28 boys that need to fit into this circle, but we've already got 10 boys over there, so that means we need to write 18 over there. Now that gives us really well-earned 5 marks, and you deserved every single one of them. So good job. Now let's move on to 8.1.2, and we're probably going to need to use this Venn diagram in order to calculate some probabilities. So calculate the probabilities that grade 10 boys at the school selected at random plays soccer and rugby. So soccer and rugby is this intersection over here where they play both of them. So we know that the probability of soccer and rugby we can represent as the intersection. Okay, I'm going to write it underneath just in case I run out of space. And we know that 10 boys played, so there's 10 boys that we could choose from at random that would play both. But there are 64 boys in the entire grade. So that means your probability here is 5 over 32. You can write it as 5 over 32. You can write it as 0.15625, or you can write it as 15.63%. So it means that only 15.63% of the boys in this grade play both sports. And that would be the probability of pulling those boys out. Then we move on to 8.1.2b. So B, they've asked us for, they play soccer and rugby. So they play both soccer and rugby. And in this case, how would we do that? So there's 2 ways. We could look at the probability of the whole sample space minus the 22 boys that don't play anything, or we could just add up all of the numbers in the circles. So all of the numbers up in the circles would give us 14 plus 10 plus 18. So let's write that out. So we've got 14 plus 10 plus 18. And that is all over 64. And 14 plus 10 gives us 24, plus 18 gives us 42. So that's going to be 42 over 64. And that is going to give us 21 over 32. Or you've got a probability of around 65.63% of the boy playing either soccer or rugby, which is fairly high, much higher than the answer in A above. And then finally, they've asked us, are the events a grade 10 boy plays soccer at the school and a grade 10 boy plays rugby at the school mutually exclusive? Now remember, mutually exclusive events are events that don't have any intersection. Now we can clearly see that there is an intersection. So we're going to say 8.1.3. You're going to say no. Okay, and the reason being is you're going to say that the probability of a boy playing both is not equal to 0, and that will get you the full marks for that question. Very special thank you to our sponsors for making this video possible. Be sure to head over to our website for more of these epic tutorial videos. If you can't find the answer to your question, send us the question and we'll respond with a personalized video just for you. Until the next time, stay epic.